Hi, so this video is going up a bit later than I wanted it to. My last video, the Midnight Sun video, got some attention, so I've been dealing with that, which has been great. Lots of dissenting opinions, but also lots of people being very kind, so he's been kind to me on that video. I really did appreciate it. It was very nice. But the video that I'd intended to put up was this big, like, trying to tackle my TBR and lockdown video, which I literally started filming at the beginning of March in lockdown, and I still haven't finished it, and it's annoying me. So I just thought I'd come today with a nice little book haul, which is not great because 2020 was going to be my year of like, I'm not going to buy books, I'm going to tackle my TBR, and we all know how well book buying bans go on BookTube, or just not on BookTube, just in the general world. It doesn't work, right? It just doesn't work. So I've got a couple of books that I need to be adding to my ever-growing TBR, so I wanted to chat about them, and yeah. The first book I acquired in 2020 I can blame Shar for, from Thoroughly Enjoyed Books. She's a booktuber, her channel is great, and she's just a lovely, lovely girl. And she was doing an unhaul and was selling books on Twitter, and I was like, I shouldn't be buying books, but this is Royal Wedding, which is the 11th book in the Princess Diary series, and I, last year, towards the end of last year in 2019, I binge read all of the Princess Diary books, literally 1 to 10. I read nothing else in between. I just boom boom boom, because I was in the depths of my dissertation research and I needed something that was different from what I was reading for my dissertation, but like light and fun enough to actually distract me. And I love the books, I love the films, I just love the whole world. I grew up with it. It's iconic. So I couldn't say no to, one, supporting Shar, who's a lovely girl on BookTube and has always been very kind to me in this space, but also just the last book in the series that I don't have, so I had to pick it up, and I'm so excited, like I'm crazily excited to read this, so I'm very excited, if you can already tell. And the next couple of books are entirely just my own willpower has failed me. I can't blame anybody for the next couple of books in this haul. So, you know, I did the classic thing of, you know, bookshops had been shut in quarantine, and I'd gone to my kind of local town, village area, and I saw, you know, I was getting groceries and like essential things, and there was a flicker in the distance, and the bookshop was open, and I thought, did that classic thing of like, okay, I don't have to buy anything, I can just go and just enjoy being in the bookshop again, you know, have my mask, my sanitizer. I was like, it's gonna be fine, safe, I can just enjoy being around books. That obviously did not last long, and my first purchases of books since lockdown were Loveless by Alice Oseman and Me and White Supremacy by Layla F. Saad. And Loveless is a YA novel by Alice Oseman, and Alice Oseman is like an icon in the YA community. I think she's most known for the Heartstopper graphic novels, which are a queer romance. And she wrote Radio Silence, which is another book that's kind of hailed as one of BookTube's favourites. So I really wanted to get this, and I believe this is about a girl who's kind of struggling with her sexuality or kind of lack of romantic feelings, and wondering if, you know, that will make her loveless. And so I think it has asexual rep, but I don't know what the exact label is, so I'm excited to read this because I don't think I've ever read a YA novel about someone that is asexual. So I'm very excited to read this, and I've heard a lot of great things about Alice Oseman's writing, so I thought it was finally time that I, you know, dive in. And then Me and White Supremacy, pretty self-explanatory, I bought because obviously this has been everywhere on the timeline. I follow Layla on social media, and she's constantly been a source of kind of hope, but also great information and resources, and she's just a very kind of bright light in the kind of activism sphere. So I wanted to support her and buy this book, and obviously, you know, learn and unlearn a lot of things. I read recently Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race, which focused on kind of race relations in Britain, and Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race obviously spoke a lot about the kind of black experience in Britain, and how those intersect with kind of feminism and age and class. But from what I can tell, this is more about kind of, well, white supremacy and what your role as a white person is in activism and what you can do to use your privilege and dismantle those systems of privilege. And the great thing about this book as well is I think it has journaling prompts and like little exercises throughout that kind of encourage you to reflect and think about your own experience, which I think is really great, because a lot of kind of activism books, a lot of activism directed at white people, of course, is just telling you to listen, you know, to listen to the experiences of non-white people, listen to them, don't question their experiences, you know, validate their experiences and amplify their voices. But what's interesting about this book is it doesn't let you take a back seat, you know, it encourages you to say, hey, you know, you're complicit in this, you know, think back to your own experiences and actually confront in yourself times where you could have spoken up or times where you've been complicit. I think that's really important, because activism should be uncomfortable and it should be painful, and it shouldn't be something that's short term. Oh, I can just read this book and now I know everything and I know what it is to be black and I'll understand when, you know, a racist situation happens near me and I'll be able to deal with it. That's not as simple as, it's not as simple as that. Basically, it's a lot of unlearning, unpicking and confronting kind of uncomfortable truths about yourself, and obviously I need to be in the right headspace to do that, but I'm like committed to doing that. So yeah, I would recommend this book to fellow white people. Yeah. The next two books again was I Lied to Myself. So recently me and my boyfriend are taking a trip to Brighton because it was my dad's birthday, and so he wanted to celebrate in Brighton, and it was a whole big thing, and it was obviously quite nerve-wracking being out and about in Brighton because that's a lot busier than the kind of local town that I'm used to, and we were very stressed. And then we were walking past Waterstones, which was empty, like it was empty. And so we thought, okay, we'll just go into Waterstones and get away from these crowds for a bit, because we were getting quite anxious. And obviously I ended up walking out with books because I have no self-control at all. So the first one that I got was the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix, and I read My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix, which I really loved. And I don't know much about this book, I just liked the title and I knew that I liked his writing style. My Best Friend's My Best Friend's Exorcism, that is so hard to say, was about obviously these two best friends that were teens in like the 80s, and it kind of took a lot of inspiration from kind of cult 80s kind of trashy horror films, and it was really, really fun, really kind of pulpy, really kind of like familiar and reminiscent, and you could just hear the soundtrack and like the special effects. It was really fun, and so I'm hoping that this will be fun too. And the key words here for me were book club and vampires, and that's kind of all I really need to be sold on this already. So I literally know nothing else about it, but when I read it I will tell you more. And then I picked up My Sister the Serial Killer. I saw this book absolutely everywhere when it came out and I really wanted it, but I've been on like a self-restrained book buying ban for a while because my TBR is like huge. It's staring at me right now and judging me very strongly. But I just like, it's coming up to Halloween, kind of. It's nearly September, so spooky vibes. My birthday is the day before Halloween, so I've always been very much like, I hype up Halloween more than I probably need to. And I was in the mood for kind of like a suspenseful thriller. And this looks quite short, so I think it's one of those things that you can kind of do in an evening. And I'm gonna wait for kind of like a, you know, stormy, rainy, kind of cozy evening, and I can just whack this out and just get lost in a kind of creepy thriller ride. I'm very excited for this. Again, I don't know much about it, but the title, My Sister the Serial Killer, tends to kind of give us a little bit of an idea. Yeah, so I think this is about two sisters, clearly, My Sister the Serial Killer, and basically she has a serial killer sister and she is kind of complicit in helping her clean up and, you know, keep this secret, and that's kind of all I want to know. I don't want to know too much, so yeah, I'm very excited for this. And the most recent book I picked up was The School for Good and Evil by Soman Chinani, and I've literally wanted this book for years. Like, friends of mine know that I always kind of like look at this longingly and think, because like I don't read a lot of middle grade, and I don't think I was like embarrassed about reading middle grade. I just like there were kind of YA or like, you know, more serious books that I thought, oh, I should read that, I should read that. And, you know, I just thought, screw it, like, I'm in the mood for this. And I think recently I've been having kind of cravings to watch Harry Potter, but with all the recent controversy around J.K. Rowling, I've kind of tried to quell those cravings. I don't want to watch it and then have it be tainted with all the stuff that she's been doing recently. So I was like, no, I'm gonna put it off for a while and I'll come back to it when I'm like emotionally ready. But this is obviously, you know, the School for Good and Evil. I think it's set around a kind of magic wizarding school. Obviously the plot is different, but the kind of vibes I think are kind of similar. So I was like, this is as close as I can probably get. You know, it'll give me the feeling and it'll give me the kind of nostalgia that I'm craving right now without being, you know, emotionally distressing. And it has beautiful little like illustrations, so I'm really excited. Like this is just my vibe. This right here, I don't even know if you can see it, but it's like this kind of old craggly little building that looks witchy and fun. So I'm very excited for this. Again, in the run up to October, Halloween, I'm definitely getting in the spooky mood, so I'm very excited to read this. So this is what my 2020 book buying ban looks like. You know, it could have been worse, actually. It could have been a lot worse. I'm happy. I'm very excited for all of these books. So yeah, as always, let me know if you've read any of them. I will be very keen to chat in the comments, and I will see you soon with another video soon. And it better be my bloody TBR video for lockdown, because that's literally been happening for so long. I've been filming it for so long, and lockdown has been over for like 2 months and it's not out yet, and I need to just Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.